Hi, it's Norman Kochnick here, a very relaxed Norman Kochnick. Not in my normal room. I've been in a few change rooms. In fact, I had an interview yesterday in another room, but I'm here with yet another very good friend of mine from, of all places, India, Yash Lahoti. He's been a friend of mine for a fair while. We've actually known each other, having met in places like Sri Lanka and Australia. We haven't met in India yet, have we, Yash? We haven't done that yet. No, we haven't done that in India.
You haven't traveled to India in the last 3 years.
No, that's true. So, welcome, Yash. Now, I'll just inform you. Say hello, Yash.
Hi, guys.
Now, Yash and we've been involved. I mean, I'm, as you probably know, I'm heavily involved with all sorts of cricket, but I also have a large amount to do with women's cricket. A lot of women's cricketers I either manage or have mentored or helped or supported in some way or another. Only as recently today, Nilakshi De Silva was telling me that the Sri Lankan women's team were going to Dambulla in the next day or so into which I thought was funny, it's a practice bio bubble. Who wants to practice the bio bubble? I don't want to practice the bio bubble. I just want to do it. So they're practicing it, apparently. And
I assume you're going into a bio bubble for some national practice also.
Right. Okay. So, in effect, though, Yash is heavily involved with women's cricket, as I am. He's even more so. He has both a media, media platform, whether it be Women's Cricket Zone in terms of print, online, as in digital, or on various social media platforms. And there is a distinction between online and social media, because online implies, to me, website, whereas social media is all platforms. Now, where would you classify YouTube? Would you call that social media or online?
I will classify it as social media because there are a lot of features in which you can interact with someone. So online is anything wherein you cannot interact with the person. Social media is something I'll possibly put in where you can interact with someone. So right now we are interacting with the fans, we are interacting with each other. So I think I'll just classify it as a social media platform.
That's a good point. Okay. I have to get you one of my hats. As you can see, I'm well and truly branded these days. I've got the jacket going, I've got the shirt, I've got the hat and cups and God knows what else. So, and since you and I have spoken, I've had obviously some, like you've had Buriya, so have I. I've had, of course, Vikrant Gupta only a matter of a couple of days ago. Have you had Vikrant on your show?
No, not yet.
Okay. So I got my regulars that come online. Like Parami Rani, who's actually based in Singapore. Now, the women's situation in Singapore, there was some discussion about a form of competition that's going to be held in either Singapore or even Hong Kong. Is that right?
Sorry, can you repeat?
A tournament of some sort on a women's stage, not necessarily the traditional top 10 teams, but a women's tournament of sorts that would be held in Singapore. Are you aware of that coming up?
I'm aware of the one in Hong Kong. So right. I think the one which is that organization which is doing it. The one in Hong Kong. So they did a couple of matches in UK 2 years back, and now they are coming to Hong Kong for a full championship.
Right.
Fairbreak is doing that.
Yeah.
Hong Kong also has hosted a lot of domestic games in the last 3 to 6 months. Singapore unfortunately hasn't been able to host a lot of women's tournaments recently. So I'm hoping that gets changed and a lot of people will start doing it.
Yeah, I'm just having a check. You've gone. I've lost you there for a second. Are you back? Your screen seems to have gone black.
Okay, is it better now?
It's still black. Can you see me?
I can.
Can you see you and me together? Now you're back. You're back now. You're fine.
Yeah, I was able to see.
All right. Anup Kumar Singh saying, Norman, why do you not reply to my comment? Anup, I reply to every single comment on my YouTube channel, so I don't know what you're talking about. You need to explain to me what you're talking about because I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Biram Irani, I'm upset with you. If you're not going to follow women's cricket, I'm not talking to you. We want Banstead Boy. Now, Banstead Boy is actually not well today. He's aka Richard Vernon or Reg. He's actually my regular co-host Chris Vernon's father. They've had, would you believe, they had bouts of COVID? And have you copped COVID at all, Yash?
Sorry, Norman, I had lost you there. Can you repeat?
Have you actually had COVID yet?
No, I didn't. So I've been fortunate enough that I have not struck with COVID, and now fortunately I'm double vaccinated.
Oh, well, I haven't got my second vaccination yet. So, Shastri, what's the discussion about? We're going to talk about women's cricket. Yes, we're going to be talking about all levels of cricket. So don't be worried. We're going to have a very long discussion, and Yash will be here, and post Yash, there'll be others, will be here as well. So a number of you are online, which I'm happy about. Now, let's go back to the discussion about women's cricket for a moment. In particular, India's performance of late against England and the upcoming series, which will eventually be Australia. Tell us your take on what's been going on with the Indian women's team.
I think so. Whenever they have got a chance, they have been performing well. So I didn't give India a chance coming into this series because the last 2 months they were at their home. April and May, it was the second wave of COVID in India. A reason why we saw the IPL getting cancelled. If a tournament like the IPL can get cancelled, you have to understand what kind of a situation India was in. So India was in a terrible situation that time. None of the women cricketers got any chance to play outside during those 2 months. The last India played was in March. You don't play anything. Harmanpreet Kaur, Rajeshwari Gaikwad, 2 girls struck with COVID themselves. You have to come back, quarantine for 15 days in Mumbai. You then rush to Southampton, do a bit of practice, and then you come into a series. Whereas at the same time, England were actually at their home. They were playing the Rachel Hugh Flint Trophy. They were playing intra-squad matches. So, of course, there were 2 teams. One who's fully prepared for the challenge. The other nearly nowhere there. So I think so. It was something that we are giving 2 people a chance, but at the same time, one is fully practiced, the other is not. And that's how the tournament happened. But at the same time, the good thing is, as we saw in the end of the tournament as well as the start, the Indian girls gave a lot of a big fight to the English women. If you see the very start, the test match, it was 2 people whom nobody expected, Sneha Rana and Tanya Bhatia, who actually won the game for India, or who helped India draw the game. So I think so. It was fairly that 2 teams who were unmatched, but at the same time coming into the tournament, they did pretty well.
So Tanya Bhatia, what was going on there? Why wasn't she selected from the start?
Sorry?
Why wasn't Tanya Bhatia selected in all formats from the start?
So Tanya this time was selected in all the 3 formats. She was not selected. She was not in the squad for the South Africa series, for which the selectors got a lot of blame on Twitter, on social media platforms. A lot of fans literally killed them. But when it came to this particular series, the selectors understood that Tanya Bhatia is their number 1 wicket keeper. And when they understood that she was their number 1 wicket keeper, she definitely played the test match and the ODI series. She didn't play the T20I series because the selectors, the team management felt that Richa Ghosh was a better wicket keeper batter because he needed a batter playing in the tournament.
Okay. But there were some selection problems. I remember Buria was speaking to both to you and others about the selections. I'm a little bit perplexed what happened there because India had a good groove going with a certain body of players. And I don't know. I mean, and I'm not. Please don't take me wrongly, but Mithali Raj, she's done a great job for 20 odd years now. 20 years or 22 years? 22 years?
22, yes. She
Okay.
recently completed 22 a month back.
I mean, she probably could play for another 5 if they let her, but they shouldn't. She needs to find a moment when she leaves at her peak. And is there any word about her retirement?
So she's already confirmed that she will retire in New Zealand next year when the World Cup is there. When the World Cup is there.
That's a very early call on a retirement. It's not really retiring. You're playing for a substantial amount of or anywhere up to a year. Or it's meant to be February, isn't it?
Yeah, it's March, April 4th or 6th is the finals.
But
in Christchurch.
Yeah, that's over a year away. I mean, really, I think she'll be reluctant even then, to be honest. It wouldn't surprise me if she extends. She seems to be that sort of a person who doesn't want to let go, which is not a bad thing, but her legacy's certainly there already. I look at Roger Federer in men's tennis. He's 40 almost. Even Chris Gayle. Well, Chris Gayle, you could argue, was 42. He should be also retired. I guess age is no longer becoming a relevant factor. There's no mandatory age to retire, is there anymore? So
I don't think so. Chris Gayle is ever going to retire.
He loves it too much. He enjoys himself too much. And the way
he enjoys himself. I don't think so. Chris Gayle is ever going to retire.
Yeah, I mean, he batted so well. He batted exceptionally well only as recently as today, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
No, okay. It's funny how we've got viewers, but it's saying we haven't got viewers. There's something technically wrong here, but we're online, though. I think any women teams, there's a comment there for Sumanth Shastri. I think Indian women's teams batting in Test cricket should improve. They were not great with defence. It's an interesting comment.
I fairly disagree to that point of view because I feel that Indian women's cricket team is doing pretty well. Test cricket as a format has been very rare to women's cricket. If you see the last 7 years, except for this test match, it was only 3 test matches that were played in the last 7 years, the 3 Ashes tests, all featuring Australia, England. India made a return to test cricket after 7 long years. So I don't think so that you can compare India with any other team or in India in test cricket. Yeah, of course, we can discuss about India in ODIs or India in T20s or any team in these 2 formats, but not in Test cricket. Test cricket is still a different ball game altogether. It's swinging conditions. You need 3 slips and a gully. You don't see that in ODIs or T20s. Of course, it takes a fair bit of practice before you play Test cricket.
They need to learn to take their time more and be patient, and not play the big shots when the ball's not there. I mean, I look at some of the. I always think of some of the South African. Who's the former captain of South Africa who was the leg spinner?
So leg spinner. She's the current captain, Dene van Niekerk.
Yeah, well, she hasn't been a captain in all the formats. That's not true. She wasn't there for.
So she was not captaining. The reason was she was injured. And she was not in the squad, and that's the reason Sunil was captaining the team.
Right. Okay. But in terms of Dane van Niekerk, she bowls deliveries which, if you have patience, you wouldn't have a problem with.
Right.
She's not a bowler that beats the bat. It's more the batter beats themselves. And a lot of her dismissals go mid-wicket cover or mid-off, mid-on through lofted rubbish shots, which is a sign of lack of patience. So I know that a lot of any of the women's coaches were concentrating on big shots, and they had to learn to actually teach them the art of patience, I guess, when they bat. I think that's, to me, one of the biggest downfalls of women's cricket. They get impatient. They try to hit a ball which is not there very early on, and they get caught. Mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket cover, traditionally.
But Norman, you can't learn something if you're going to play a test match in 7 years. So you're not going to learn anything out of it. You need to learn. Yeah, you need to learn for things which you're going to play on a consistent basis. So, for example, If any team is playing Test cricket every series, so every 2 months or every 3 months, if they are playing one Test match, yes, they should be learning the format. But if you want to play a Test match every year, every 2 years, like even Australia and England do, I don't think so. It makes for a lot of difference. It's just the same.
It's true. Now, there's two, just both Barami and Samantha both commented about the Harleen catch was out of this world. I think that was an excellent example where women have come of age with their fielding. That was magnificent. And they've obviously been educated on how to field in a way which is very impressive. I'm very impressed with that. In fact, the overall world standard of women's fielding has gone through the roof. I think their batting certainly has too. Bowling is probably an area which probably needs some work most, but I think their fielding is one of the most exemplary things I've seen for some time. So that's certainly the case. All right. Now the ICC have opened the door on women's Test cricket. Obviously they have, because India's played, England are going to play Australia. I think South Africa's playing a Test match as well.
Next year against England.
But I'm just saying there is evidence there where that should happen. And I don't know why Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, and for that matter Pakistan, don't play Test cricket more often between them, at least to start with.
Leave out Test cricket. Bangladesh and Sri Lanka have not competed in an ODI or T20 international since last year's World Cup.
I know.
So let's leave over Test cricket, but they're not even playing limited overs.
I've just been messaged by, of all people, Trisha Shetty has just messaged me now. She said hello to me, just as we spoke. It's rather optimum timing. But the one player in world cricket at the moment that has really taken me by storm is Shabnam Ismail. She absolutely killed in the BBL. She's about to hit the 100, which we'll talk about in a minute. She's played admirably against both India and England on occasions. She, to me, is surprisingly getting even better.
She's just like fine wine and getting better every day. If you see, her pace has increased. She's bowling better line and lengths day in and day out. And I just feel that Shabnam Ismail is one of the top bowlers in the world. With South Africa, she may not get those many number of chances, but now she's playing the WBBL. She's right now going to play for the 100. So it's going to be amazing.
She replaced the Australians, didn't she? She replaced Rachel Haynes, I think, she replaced.
Yeah, she replaced an Australian.
Yeah, that's another one that I'm a bit annoyed about, and I'm not blaming anyone for this, but it seems like a lot of Australian, both men and women, have opted out of the 100. I know Glenn Maxwell certainly has. Australians have also opted out of quite a few tournaments of late. And I don't think there's a real reason for COVID to be to blame for that, but it's intriguing, don't you think? That I think Australian women need to be evidenced as many times as possible.
So I think so. The major reason for the women and the men, let me just separate both of them. The reason for the women opting out of the WBB, the 100, is going to be because the 100 gets over on August 21, and so potentially if the women leave England on August 22 and they reach back Australia the next day, say August 23, it's going to take 15 days of hard quarantine for them. So potentially they will be out of the hard quarantine by September 7th or September 8th. And it's going to be a very less amount of time that they have before the England series starts.
Right.
Before the India series starts. So I think so that's the huge problem with the women. With the men, it's a bit different. They have a couple of international series at the moment going on. And plus, immediately after the 100 is the IPL. So most of the players will be then turning up for the IPL franchisees and are going to stay in the same country, that is the UAE, to play the World Cup. So it's going to be a bit difficult for them. So I think so. Everybody wants a bit of family time before they get busy. So I'm assuming the likes of Cummins and Steve Smith will more be interested in. will more be interested in being with their families before they turn up for their IPL franchises and then play the World Cup.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think normal sanity of normal family life, being out of a bio bubble, has become such a crucial issue. I think that's people are forgetting that, and I think it's great that you actually brought that up, because that to me is a reason behind a lot of issues at the moment, from everything from well, look at the way that the Indian men have actually just recently gone out and gone to the Wimbledon matches and the so-called soccer. They've done that purely because they needed some sanity. And I think now we have to approach COVID more and more like the flu. Once everyone's vaccinated, they should be free to travel and be a bit more transparent than they have been.
That's only possible when you have either taken both the doses, and of course you are in a country wherein it's a bit safer. So, for example, in India, there's a huge population which is still unvaccinated, not vaccinated. So I think that's a problem here in India. In England, it's still fairly better, and a reason why they are going to be without masks in a week or so.
Yeah, in Australia, of course, is lagging behind. We've got barely 9% people have actually been. It's pathetic. I mean, I've got my first Pfizer jab, but I'm getting my second. But the rest of the country is just sitting on their hands. Anyway, look, Yash, there's no Indian sports channel that's showing the 100. Is that right?
Yes, it is. So this time, for the very first time, no Indian sports channel is going to show a franchisee tournament. So the rights have been bought by Dream 11's FanCode, and FanCode is going to stream both the men's and the women's international. So it's a digital platform which is going to do it for the very first time. So no sports channel, not on TV, only on mobile.
Just lost your volume there.
Better now?
Yeah, better now, yeah. So hang on. Is it Dream 11 are taking the platform? Is that on a YouTube channel, or is it on their internet?
No. So there is an OTT platform called FanCode, and FanCode is going to show all the matches on their platform.
Right.
It's just like Hotstar or Kayo or something like that. So it's a new platform called FanCode, and FanCode is going to stream all the matches of the 100 in India.
At, I would imagine, a substantial cost.
No, not even $1.
Okay.
Not even $1 for the whole tournament.
Shahz Manjri is also saying HD Stream Z app is to watch the 100. It must be some app that's trying to do it as well. I don't know about that.
That's basically piracy.
Piracy, okay. So at least ECB is giving equal respect to the 100. 100 starts with a women's game. That's true. You've got to give respect to that. They've given a fairly strong throttle, as does the BBL with WBBL. I guess India's IPL, why aren't they with 6 or 8 or even possibly even in the future 10 teams? Why are they doing that? Can you give me an answer?
There's no particular reason to it. There are lots of reasons to it. It's not only finances. There's a talk about the depth of the talent. There's a talk about when to schedule it. There's a talk about do we have enough number of players. There's a talk about do we have sponsors supporting it. It's not one reason which is sticking to have the women's IPL. There are lots of reasons, and I expect at least in the next 2 years we see at least a 4-team or a 6-team IPL. That's the only thing I can say. ECB, of course, on the other hand, yes, as we read it, is giving equal respect to the 100. I understand on a lot of terms, but of course, the salary caps are not the same. So, for example, I just read it in the morning. Chris Cook, you may not know his name. Chris Cook was the last player in the draft for the men's 100. He's getting £25,000, and Sarah Taylor is the highest paid cricketer in the 100, and she's getting £15,000. So there's a lot of gap in the payment structure.
15,000.
And Chris Cook, the last player in the men's draft, is getting 25,000. So 10,000 more than the highest paid player of the women's 100. So there is a lot of difference. The women's games are particularly scheduled in the afternoon time, while the men's games have been given the evening slots every day. The women's games happen. So whenever the women's game is happening, most of the times it's happening in the afternoon, or whenever it is happening in the evening, it clashes with a men's international. So for example, England is playing India in a test match, so it's clashing with that. So something or the other is happening whenever a women's game is playing. So of course, I'm not saying that the ACB is not trying to, but there are still a lot of holes and gaps that they need to fill in.
Okay. But look, it's a step in the right direction, let's say that much. I think the BBL-WBBL relationship is very strong. I'm not going to comment on the 100 too much in terms of whether I like it. I want to see it. Because at this point in time, I'm confused.
Same here.
I don't understand. It's almost looking a bit like, what's another game? They've got the last man stands, and I'm not a fan of that either. So I'm just worried that here we are with almost no time available. We've got World Cups. We've got the WTC and men's. We've got the other platforms all going on at the same time. IPL, PSL, whatever. And the women's situation as it is going pretty well. But I don't think anyone can afford the 100's been squished in the middle here. The IPL's having to be split up. Oh my God, with COVID, it's such a disaster time-wise. I'm not blaming anyone for that, but you have to argue that if push comes to shove, we can't afford another format to squeeze in. It's not about the evolution of cricket not happening, as we've already seen from Test to 50 over to 20 over, and even T10 to an extent. It's about time, isn't it?
It's about the time, and it's also about are we trying to confuse a lot of the audience? Because honestly speaking, today I do not have a complete idea about what the 100 is. There are lots of new rules, and I'm not well equipped with all the rules that are available today. So I think it's more confusing than welcoming, at least at this moment. So I'll wait at least for a week or two, or I'll wait for the entire 100 to pan out and see where it goes.
When are we going to have time to watch the 100? You've got Sri Lanka playing India at the moment, or about to happen in the next day or so in Sri Lanka. You've got a carryover the Australia, West Indies, and India, Pakistan, England tournaments. Australia then play Bangladesh. South Africa playing God knows who. Ireland, whoever. There's so much going on with that's just men's. Then you've got the World Cup on top of the IPL. Really, there's so much discussion elsewhere. The 100's going to find it very hard to squeeze. I don't know the timings exactly. You've explained them, but there's going to be clashes. Surely there are going to be clashes.
There will be clashes, Norman, but that's going to happen anytime you play the 100. So there's only one tournament in this world, one franchisee tournament in this world which gets a clean slate. That's the IPL. So except for the IPL, the Big Bash gets clashed with a lot of international tournaments. The 100 is going to face the same. So any league, the Caribbean Premier League, the Pakistan Super League, any league in this world, whichever happens, clashes with a lot of international tournaments. And that is the reason a lot of internationals do not get a chance to play in these tournaments. So I think that's always going to be a problem. But yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, we're just getting some female cricketers here. Okay, that's okay. That's not me talking or you talking. That's actually Aparna Saini who's talking. Aparna Saini is about to join us. And Aparna, have you met Aparna?
No.
Well, Aparna's been a great asset. She's been working very much with Sportstack, with me with Extra Time. She's also worked with my platform. She has her own platform called Cricket Conversation with Aparna Saini. She's very well in tune. She's got a great level of her father, I shouldn't talk about her father, but her father has a lot to do with, is highly position in government in India, has a lot of, she was a domestic tennis player in India at the highest level of domestic. She also can handle a cricket bat, and she's very good at that. She's coming on in a second. I don't know what she's doing, but so she's been a great asset to my program. She's been, and she's had a lot of great guests. We both went out to see Steve Waugh about a month ago and had a great session. We've got some big plans in the future. So, I mean, what you and I need to talk about, Yash, as well as our platforms extending into the broadcasting world as well. Has CrickZone, actually tell the viewers about CrickZone a bit more, please.
So, guys, I started the platform in the year 2018. In the year 2017 as a social media handle. In 2018, it got transformed into a website, a media company focusing on all women's cricket for the next for all women's cricket in 60 odd countries wherever the game is being played. So if you go to womenscrickzone.com, you will just find articles, news, interviews, reports, anything and everything that is to do with any country in this world. So we also covered the recently held Germany versus France tournament in Germany. In the year 2019, we started with a magazine. Norman has a bit of copies of the magazine. So right now the magazine is 4 editions old. We're coming up with the 5th edition in September, ahead of the India versus Australia series. In 2020, we launched the first ever award show for women's cricket. And in the year, this year itself, from a media company, we have changed ourselves to a media and broadcast company. We've got into broadcasting. We recently streamed a tournament in a very small country called Rwanda in East Africa. The entire tournament featured 5 teams, played 14 games, and it was streamed live on our platforms of Women's Crick Zone, Facebook and YouTube. We got more than 1 million viewership for those tournaments. So yeah, overall, this is what we have done at Women's Crick Zone. And of course, there are a lot of things up there in the pipeline. So if anybody is interested in joining the platform, you're most welcome.
And that's, look, and guys, all my viewers, you've got to watch out for this, because it's one of the most progressive platforms, not just for the obvious parts of women's cricket, but it transcends a lot of discussion. Women's cricketers themselves endorse it greatly, whether they're in India, whether they're in Australia. They've all very much in favour of it. And here's a person who's in favour of it too. Aparna Saini, how are you?
Hello, evening all.
Welcome to the show. You've got Yash. I'll put you in the middle. Yash Lahoti here. Yash, can you hear us? Yes, you can.
Yes,
Say
yes,
hello
yes.
to Aparna.
Hi, Aparna.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Nice to meet you.
Same here.
So, Aparna, you know about Yash's CrickZone, don't you? I've talked to you about that before. It's a publication. It's a media platform of great note. Not only both in a media publication sense in terms of physical publications, it's online. It has all social media platforms, has a YouTube presence. There's not much it hasn't got. It's basically the go-to place for women's cricket in the world. Is that a fair summation?
That's very fair, and well, that's good to know. I did not know.
You did know. I think I've told you before.
Yeah, well, Norman, I don't have a good memory.
but Yashpal, not Yashpal, Yash. I was thinking Yashpal earlier. Yash, you know full well that if you need someone of quality, you've got a partner here in Australia who was obviously Indian, having been born and bred in Delhi. Is her long lost cousin is Navdeep Saini? Is that right?
Oh, stop it!
It's not.
Well, if he better start behaving and performing. I was getting all the bashing because of him. I nearly thought I would be banned from the stadiums.
It was so funny, but she was Palm was on the spot when a lot of the incidents went down in Australia in the last series, as well as of course there was the whole strikes with the farmers back in India, but it sort of it mulled over to Australia. We had large protests, and Apana had some great reports for both Sports Tack as well as India Today and a whole host of other programs. So it's got quite a platform in our own channel as well. Cricket Conversations with Apana Saini. And your password doesn't work, by the way. I tried to work it today. Okay.
Oh, we'll have to sort that one out.
You keeps falling out. Okay, so Shafali Verma, she to me is the future of cricket, in particular in India. Is that a fair summation?
Players like her are future of women's cricket. Shafali is going to lead that pack someday or the other, and she's already doing a credible job. So somebody's asking that which team is Shafali going to play for? For the international, of course, she plays for India, but in the 100, she's going to play for the Birmingham Phoenix. Is the team she's going to represent. Ellis Perry was also a part of the team until she pulled out. So yeah, it's Birmingham Phoenix, led by Amy Jones, the English wicket keeper.
Yeah, I've seen Shefali Verma and Richa Ghosh. They're gone. They are the new young talent, and the future is bright.
But I must say though, hang on, I've got my program going. There's
another voice coming. There's only 3 people here.
Well, Tanya Bhatia, of course, too, Apana, is another who is
Yes.
really a long-term player. And
Yeah,
Apana
yeah,
can
no.
always throw her boots on too. She plays a mean game of tennis, but
Mean game.
I'm challenging Apana to a cricket match. She's going to be hit out of the park when I bat. That's the promise.
Well, at least I won't get run out, Norman. Let's put it that way.
Oh, this is nasty. Very, very nasty.
Well, no, but I was, you know what? I was there in Barrel. I can't let you go off it. Before we stopped clapping for, Norman's turn. Go, Norman. He was already coming back.
Well, that may have been the case. Let's move on. All right. Now.
So I haven't watched you play since then, so you got to change the
I've
memory.
I've been in hibernation since then. So
what else does he want?
Now, listen, Yash, I want you to tell me how can we get more viewers to women's cricket? Because we certainly have a large contingent of people that are watching already, and men's followings of women's cricket has grown. Certainly, I've noticed a change even with Indian. Most of the people who are commentating here have a good level of knowledge about it. Is it infiltrating into the Indian subculture now?
Norman, the first thing that we need to do, two very easy things that come to my mind. One, of course, is the women, whatever they play, needs to be shown on TV or digital, whatever. So at least those matches should be available. So when you broadcast more women's games, automatically the audience is going to rise. And the second important point is, so for example, the men cricketers have a lot of following, like lots of following than comparatively to their women colleagues. So I just feel that the more men cricketers promote women's cricket on their platforms, it's going to be an easy pie. So for example, Virat Kohli does a tweet about women cricketers, like congratulations to India for reaching the finals of the T20 World Cup. Automatically, more number of people are going to watch the finals of the T20 World Cup. So it's going to be that simple. These are simple steps that you need to take. And of course, you need to increase the number of games that are going to be on TV or digital.
No, I agree with what you just said. But it comes to sponsors, getting sponsors and people watching. It's all about a business. So we need those sort of sponsors to actually come out and be responsible for promoting more women games, not let alone cricket. But obviously cricket is very far more often followed as compared to other sports. So cricket, women, there's got so much talent, Norman. You would
Yeah.
not believe. I mean, but they're far off from coming in the top. But that's what the skill, the amount of money that goes to actually men team, even management and all that sort of stuff. It's not even half or 1/3 of what it would be spent for women. So I think that sort of things needs to start. When those little things start changing, I think we would be able to make a big difference. See that change out there. There would be automatically more audience and more sponsors, and that's a big kickstart for promoting women cricket in
I
India.
agree. Completely agreed.
Can I just say some very good developments? There's two things which I think is important: is players getting exposed in the lower to mid-range countries, in countries like Australia, and play domestically. The example: Janatul Shimona, having played for Bangladesh at 16, has now played 2 seasons in the Sydney competition. First season she won, batted with Alyssa Healy, played with Alyssa Healy and Rachel Haynes. They won the competition. Second year she played for Bankstown, played with 2 other, I can't think of the names now. There was 2 or 3 other girls that played for Australia. Who's Ash Gardner and the like. They played for her in Bankstown. She's now knocking on the door for WBBL action. Then there is the 2 that we hear from Sri Lanka, namely Rebecca Van Dort and also I've had a mental block. And not Nalakshi De Silva. Nalakshi De Silva was in Sydney, who's playing for Sri Lanka, but both
Simona?
the likes of Rebecca Van Dort and Nipuni Hunsinger are
Nipuni,
now
yes.
playing in Melbourne. They're knocking on the door to play for Cricket Victoria. Amazing. I'm so happy. They're progressing through the ranks and learning, and they're developing the skills. I believe there'll be more players from Sri Lanka coming out this season. I think that needs to happen more. A lot of the Indian girls do it as well, but a lot of the
So
up-and-coming nations need
Norman,
to do it. And that's
let me,
integral to this success. Would you agree?
let me just add there. The reason why they are traveling from Sri Lanka to Australia is money. So because the Sri Lankan Cricket Board is not offering them enough amount of money and they are not able to take care of things, that is the reason they are traveling down to Australia, because the Australian clubs or domestic structure is so strong that they offer better money so that their families can be are better off. And that is the reason a lot of girls are traveling, a lot of talented cricketers are traveling down from the smaller nations to Australia or UK, so that they can put bread to butter. They can put bread to butter.
Well, that's great. That's exactly. If it's money, that's fine. But as long as the countries, the cricket boards understand that, and let them go, and they're going to go back and be better cricketers. That's the key to it. Not just the money.
At
but
least
it's
they're
also-
getting practice. Yeah.
Exactly.
Playing on different stadiums, different fields, and different players.
But how many cricketers are going to come back to those countries? I don't think so.
They won't.
I don't think so. Rebecca Van Dort is going to ever come back to Sri Lanka and play for Sri Lanka again.
I agree.
No, she's one exception. I would agree with that. Okay, there's other aspects, not just playing domestically. It's also the transition away from cricket, because most women cricketers, when their cricket season's finished or their career, it's back to zero. Very few become commentators. Very few make money. Hence the transition to qualifications that various cricket boards should take their hands on, like I've done with women's cricketers becoming personal trainers, master of fitness, master of training courses, so they can become high performance coaches or high performance trainers, which women's cricket needs more women doing, and not relying on, say, men to do that. There's a career path there, not just the cricket playing. There's, yes, commentary, administration, but also training, coaching, mentoring. I think that's where your platform, as well as mine and others, should be more actively trying to seek out, not necessarily sponsors alone, but also those that will champion
someone
training.
Has to make a noise to get it out there to the sponsors. End of the day, it's all about money. I mean, it's very sad to say that, but it is about money, right? So
Aparna,
even if we do promote
I
it,
completely agree with you. It's going to be about money, because end of the day, money is something that revolves, and that is going to either help you out at any given stage in time, which at this moment women's cricket needs. Women's cricket needs more sponsors.
But it's all about, if you put some money in, if you invest money, then you have a scope of making money out of it. Whereas the
Right.
Indian Cricket Board is not investing as much money, so there is not going to be any sort of money coming out of it, or any sort of level that we can promote to get it to the level that men cricket is recognized in the country. That's what the point is. But we have to still make noise, create waves. So as one day it changes, but I can see it coming very soon. As much as I can see the hundreds in women cricket.
I disagree to one pointer, saying that Indian Cricket Board is not putting in money. Indian Cricket Board is putting in a lot of money. Of course, I'm not comparing it with the men, because the way I view this sport is that I don't compare it with men's cricket. Men's cricket is on a different level altogether. So I don't
The
compare it with.
opportunities, though.
Yeah, so I just put it in this way, that men's cricket is another sport, women's cricket is another sport. Yes, of course, the equal amount of money is not put in. But if you see the number of domestic matches that happen in India is at least 3 or 4 times more than the domestic competitions which happen in Australia or the UK. It is 3 or 4 times more. Of course, we need an IPL. That's a different question, which I already told Norman before you joined, that yes, India needs a women's IPL. But at the same time, saying that the Indian Cricket Board is not putting in a lot of money, that's, I think, so fairly wrong to say. Because the money put in is actually more than what it is put in Australia or UK. It's just that the sheer amount, the amount of cricketers that play in India is a lot more. That is the reason the money required.
The outgoings are more.
Yeah, the outgoings are more.
Now, okay, there's something, and I know Yash has only got another 4 or 5 minutes to go before he has to go. Domestically in India, now Gargi Wankar is not here today. She plays domestically for, I can't remember which province it is, but she's a very good bowler. She goes to Bangladesh a lot. She's been telling me a lot about what's been happening domestically there. Things are certainly improving, but it's got a long way to go. It's still got a lot of development, hasn't it, really, in terms of the prominence of domestic women's cricket?
Domestic cricket, I think so, except for Australia, India, or to an extent UK, the rest of the world is very much lagging behind. You don't see a lot of domestic women's cricket. For example, Sri Lanka only holds 2 competitions in the entire year. Bangladesh, I think so, only holds 1. Pakistan have now improved a lot in the last 2 years after Wasim Khan has joined them. So domestic women's cricket, I think so, overall in the entire world is lagging behind. Professionally, it's only Australia or England which are right up there because they're playing their domestic cricketers, but the rest of the world is not even doing that.
Now, okay, a couple of questions before you go. How many YouTube channels are there talking about women's cricket? Really, it's only your platform, probably mine, and probably Sports Today. Would that be a fair summary?
Yeah, that's it. I don't know of a lot of platforms which are doing regular women's cricket on their YouTube channels.
Which
There's
is
a
unfair.
I mean, really, everyone should go to CrickZone. So, yes, just a promotion of your YouTube channel again. It's Women's CrickZone. Women's is a WOMEN apostrophe S, CrickZone with a Z. Now, you need to, in the commentary after this YouTube channel, Yash, I want you to attach comments in that will then provide links, and that's something that I'd like you to do. So when we finish with the live, might be a while away because I'll certainly talk post your departure. You'll make sure you spend some time and get that interaction happening so we can then be able to get as many people involved as I can. And I'd like you to come back on more often, and we'll bring on a number of the girls that I know. We'll have some forums that can be even joint platform, yes, where we have mine and yours, and for that matter, partners on a platform where we spread the word. Okay, would you like that?
Yeah, great initiative. In all support of promoting women cricket. So I'm very proud to be part of any sort of initiative that we can be able to do so. So yes, yeah.
Just quickly, the mixed gender match. There was comment I did see about a mixed gender match. Is there anything gone ahead with that in India?
No, that was only for publicity, is what I understand.
Right.
It's
right.
see, I have my own point of view why the BCCI will never agree for a mixed gender match.
Yeah.
Now just take this for an example. There is a Smriti Mandhana who's batting. There's a Jasprit Bumrah who's bowling at 150 Ks. If Jasprit Bumrah bowls and Smriti Mandhana hits a 6, the entire brand value of Jasprit Bumrah and men's cricket is going to get smashed in a single day, on a single ball. And for example, if Jasprit Bumrah bowls and Smriti Mandhana gets bowled on the first ball, imagine whatever women's cricket has risen in the last 4 or 5 years is going to be 0 the next day. So I don't think so. It's a good idea to have a mixed gender match because fans are going to kill you on both ends of the spectrum.
Okay,
I would agree.
You do remember Billie Jean King and what she did with in that particular match?
A different sport. It's a different sport. It's a different sport.
Okay, all right. Now, Rebecca Van Dort. If there's ever a wicketkeeper that can handle men's cricket in terms of keeping, Rebecca Van Dort's the one.
She's good. She's good.
So Norman, I'm not saying that it's a bad idea. I'm just saying if you do between current international cricketers who have a certain level of fame, it's going to be troublesome. It's going to be troublesome.
But if that is done, yes, you would agree. If that is done, that's the only way a sooner and quicker version of promotion or acknowledging women cricket would be achieved.
I don't think so. I slightly have a different perspective because I come from a more business side of things. I just feel that
business side of thing. All the sponsors that Jasprit Bumrah had would go to.
No. For example, if Smriti gets cleaned the first ball, or if Shefali is not able to clean that ground, it's going to be a different ball game. See, women play with a 5 ounces ball. Men play with a 5.5 ounces. So, which ball are you going to use when you're going to play a mixed gender match? Women have a different.
That's not very hard to achieve.
Back in the 80s and 90s, there was a match where Dennis Lilly, Jeff Thompson, Ian Chappell played, and there was certain Australian women's cricketers. Very famous videos. They handled it brilliantly. Steve Rickson was keeping. He was shocked now while they played.
So Norman,
it's been done before.
We're talking about a different era. We are talking about a social media era. Just imagine that one particular ball can just kill either men's cricket or women's cricket. It's going to be very troublesome.
I think it would kill men's cricket, and that's the problem because they don't want so many sponsors and advertisements.
Yeah,
that would be a big breakout for women cricket.
It can be, and it cannot be. It like there's a big pros and cons list, and I think so. The cons list, nobody wants to touch that cons list.
Yeah, let's not get in there. That's dangerous field out there, definitely.
And Baram Irani saying Aparna's got a nice hairdo. Baram, we're talking about cricket here, not hairdos.
Thank you.
Quite frankly, I think Yash got a nice
I call that
too.
lazy hairdo, but whatever works. Thanks for the compliment.
Right, thanks, Yash.
But yeah, thanks, Yash. Lovely to speak with you, with women.
Yeah.
But Yash, you can make a promise. You got to come back more regularly.
I will 100%.
Okay. All right. But you're a great person to have. You're doing a wonderful job with QuickZone. You've got great people there. You do it with a great deal of panache. I'm proud of you, mate. I really am proud of you.
Thanks, Norman. Thanks, Aparna.
Yeah, thanks, Yash.
All right, Yash. See you soon. Huh?
Okay, bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao. Well, Aparna, it's great to have you here. Yash is probably the most significant person now in women's cricket in India. He was with Buria as well recently. He's got 5 publications. They're as big as a magazine. They're huge. And he does it really well. He has award ceremony nights. He and I worked together to get a broadcast link for Sri Lanka and India about 3 years ago, actually. and he's very prominent. He's getting more financial backing. He's very business oriented. Great guy. He was out here for the World Cup.
Oh,
In March. He came
and
to the,
son,
he was there. He was around the World Cup at that time. I didn't know
oh,
you
and
then,
Katy
so-
Perry sing.
Sorry?
That was the last thing we saw before pandemic.
Exactly. Yeah, so Yash is really a great person to have. And I'm a part of with your platform. You need to start. We're going to get some women's guests on your platform as
Yeah.
well. So so you can start with Shimona if you want to. It would be
Yeah, no,
certainly
for sure.
and
I'm
Shripali.
all in for women cricket. And you've been a player manager for a lot of them,
Yeah.
and I strongly believe in that. Women cricket needs to be the word needs to be get out there a bit more than what it is, and whatever we
Well,
can
I don't agree
contribute.
with Yash. I think that the real risk is for men, not women. It's a huge thing for women to
Yeah.
play in the men's. It'll be the best publicity for women's cricket. Rebecca Van Dorp behind the stumps, stumping some of the best male batters, that would embarrass them. But it would be only a positive, not a negative. I don't agree with it. I don't think there's anything to lose. There's nothing to lose for women's cricket, and even if they do get smashed, it's still a great relationship that it can start to build. So no, I don't agree. I think it's a great idea, and it will happen for sure. And even Alyssa Healy can handle it, and Elise Perry, they can handle it, I reckon, for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. I would agree with you, Norman.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
okay.
Yash thinks differently. But obviously, it's coming from some sort of perspective. But no matter what, I would love to say some mixed double sort
look
of,
at you.
you know.
Look at you.
It's
You've
like
done
tennis
so well with
wording,
your
mixed double.
platform too. Yeah, you're
Sorry?
fantastic, Apart. You've got everybody asks for you to come on the show now. They're missing you on this show, so we've got to get you on more regularly when you've got some time. There is. If you know what you should also do is start a podcast. It's really easy. You just go to Spotify and Apple, and anything we're doing, like we're talking now, you just take the actual audio and just upload it, and you get a whole new platform of people. I'm starting to do that
Wow.
now. I've got
So you have to
I've
have
got
a channel?
yeah, I've got a podcast, Eyes on Cricket on the podcast. I've got Apple and Spotify, and it's starting to go well, really well.
Yeah, no, we'll look into it. Forward me your channel name. Is it same?
Same. It's just go to Apple and Spotify, and there's another platform too. And one platform, it's called. This actually does all the work for you. It's a free service, and they take it on. Let me have a look what they're called. They're called Anchor, Anchor, Anchor,
Yeah.
and they will help
Anchor.
you get Spotify and Apple, and then you get everything you do with a visual. You can then send on the audio, and because when you download from StreamYard, you download both things, and you can just download them and upload them again. I've done it quite well. It's actually doing quite well. It's something else that I've done recently.
Well, no,
So,
for sure. I'll give it a shot. Yeah, maybe we should
Where
have
are you,
done this
Apart?
one.
Are you in Sydney or are you down south?
No, I'm in Sydney.
Okay.
Just got back in Sydney. It's in lockdown. Lockdown is extended. How are you doing, Norman?
I'm bored a little bit, but otherwise okay. I had a great session with, of course, Vikrant Gupta, who's a very close friend of yours as well. You've got to now tell Vikrant, because he was on mine, he should be on yours.
Yeah, no, I haven't been doing anything on YouTube lately, as you know.
No, but you can ask Vikrant to join your platform and do an interview with you.
Yeah, well, how did you manage to do? I mean, when did that happen?
Well, he's been on my social media platform for many years too, but not like you have. You got the direct contact, but he was on my social media, and I reached out, and he said sure, and it was a great. Did you watch it?
Yeah. No, I did. I think it was quite good. I was very shocked. It was like, oh my God, finally, Norman's been, I think, willing to do it for a long time.
I was trying to get a hold of you to get on that show.
Oh, well, I missed your messages or something. But you didn't let me know that who was coming
It only
on.
happened very quickly.
Was it a surprise?
The Tuesday to the Thursday it happened. Okay, so Charlotte Manju said, "No, what is your Indian 11 for the first ODI versus Sri Lanka?" So, what do you know about the team, Aparna? I'll go through it and see if you agree. They're because this is the second side, you would say, but it's still the top side. We've got Shikhar Dhawan, Prithvi Shaw, Ishan Kishan, They're talking about Manish Pandey for the ODI, but for the T20 it might change. So Kishan Kishan, Sky Kumar, of course.
The Rahul David, driven as in coach. Yeah,
Correct.
I'm totally aware of it. I'm a cricket reporter.
I didn't mean you
I
weren't
don't say
aware. I didn't say
cricket.
that. I didn't
That's
say you were
fine.
not
I
aware. I
know.
said you were aware. I'm just giving you the team. Then you've got Rahul's not there, and of course Rishabh Pant's got COVID-19, and
Yeah.
Riddham
That-
Saha as well, and a few other people. Eshwaran, they're back up. Okay. There's also Samson as well as the other player who may both play and keep. Then you've got the bowlers. You've got Navdeep Saini. Your namesake's going to be there. You've also got Kuldeep Yadav, who you know very well. He said hello to you and at the Nets and Jamoy Oval. Kuldeep Yadav. Obviously, then there's Chahar and Chahal.
No, man, you're attracting some controversy. I'm not liking it.
It's not controversial. It's just the truth. Can't be controversial. It's the truth. No, but and of course that team's going along very well. And Shreyas Iyer has recovered from his shoulder injury for Delhi Capitals, and so that's happening on the 18th. What's today? Today's the 17th, isn't it? Yeah. So effectively tomorrow the game starts through the 29th. Then of course the Test series between India and England starts August the 4th. 5 Test matches, and you've got that new format, the 100 coming up. Do you know much? Do you know what the 100 is? Have you heard anything about the 100?
Yeah.
Well, the 100, of course, is 20 overs, but 5 ball overs, not 6, and they bowl from one end.
I'm not looking forward to it. Are you? Do you think they will work?
No, not really. I don't know how it fits in. We'll be a bit ambivalent to it for a while, I think. Then you've got the IPL in the UAE. Have you had any jabs? Have you had any COVID-19 vaccinations yet?
No, I'm above. It's only for above 40, unless you wanna get the Astra Xenon one. But I'm not getting that one.
No, I got a Pfizer shot at the airport the other day. I'll tell you
at
how
the
I
airport.
I'll tell you how I did that.
Where are you going, right? And by the way, you're above 40, so you shouldn't be getting it anyway.
I'm not above. I'm kind of above 40. Yeah,
just hitting the mark by one day.
No, but I'll tell you about the Pfizer shot at the airport. I'll tell you the way that I did that. I'll explain. I can't talk about it.
Watch our Australian government.
No, you can do it. So, back to the 11. Just quickly again. Prithvi Shaw with Shikhar Dhawan. Manish Pandey, Ishan Kishan with Sky Kumar, and also Samson. Then you'll have.
I'm more excited about India and Pakistan. You know.
Oh yes.
They face off.
Well said.
We've been talking about it.
Very, very big point. You're right. The World Cup, the stages have been announced with the qualifiers and the group 1 and 2, or A and B, whatever you want to call it. And India and Pakistan are both together in the one group. Wow.
Man, this will be first face-off between the two teams in more than 2 years. The last time they did was in 2019, and that was a 50-over World Cup. So, not one game since then. It's going to be a blockbuster game.
We'll have to make a big deal about that one. That'll be a huge game for sure. Very well said. That's good. I forgot to talk about that. The World Cup, it's in Group 2 or B. You've got India and Pakistan with New Zealand and Afghanistan and 2 qualifiers. The other group, which is Group 1 or A, is Australia and South Africa with West Indies and also England. Now, even in the media today, Australian press were doubting that Australia will make the semi-finals. It's pretty embarrassing.
Is that after India's win and how they snatched the series away from Australia in their home?
Exactly.
Grounds?
I mean, Australia. And Banstead boys just joined. You know, Chris Verner's father. You've met him, haven't you?
Yeah.
You're looking lovely, Aparna. So that's the second person who's talked about your hair and your looks. How do I look, Banster boy? Do I look good? I don't know.
I think you're gonna sit up first. I can't see you properly.
No, I'm lying down. I'm actually
just
lying
about.
down. I'm actually lying down in bed.
I know you are. That's what I'm saying. You're gonna sit up first.
No,
but I like the relaxed atmosphere that you
Yeah, I'm a bit
create,
more relaxed.
even for the guests on the show and for the audience.
Yeah, do you know that
That's
Chris Vernon
just
had?
Norman.
Do you know Chris had COVID? I told him.
Oh,
And Banster Boy had a dose of it too. But are you feeling well, Banster Boy? Tell us. He was supposed to be on the show today. Bangladesh will end up with India and Pakistan. They are a dangerous team. Bangladesh, they can be dangerous. Pakistan's going to be dangerous too, and the West Indies. The way if you've been watching the West Indies, how they've been playing, haven't they been playing well? Wow.
they've been good. They've been really. Australia is a bit losing there. I mean, probably that was one of the reasons they weren't sure that they're going to make it. Not from the India one, but yeah, no. You know more about Australian team.
Look out for the Harpoon fleet. That's nasty, Banster Boy.
What's Harpoon fleet?
Munchie's more on the
Harpoon
boarding. So Munchie has had doses of most things, but Banster Boy's had doses. Has he now? Okay. Now, but Munchie, of course, is AKA, or he's really known as Marcus Lawrence. He's often on the show, so good to see those guys joining. So, in terms of your platform, Cricket Conversations with Aparna Saini, you've done a little GIF today. One of those little, I reckon that was excellent. GIF or GIF, whatever it's called. How did you do that?
Wow, with my IT skills, I think it took me years of degree completion.
Don't be nasty.
Finally, to become. Come on, I'm just joking.
Whoops, we lost her. Aparna's lost, but she's there. She'll be back in a second. So, guys, it's been great to have. It was great to have Yash Lahoti here today. Yash was there, and he basically talked about CricZone, Women's CricZone. Women's CricZone is a platform that's specifically for women's cricket. They cover everything from the new IPL formatting to what girls will be doing in the 100, which will be coming up next few days. And then you've got, obviously, the WBBL, Women's Big Bash League, and other tournaments around the world that are starting up. There'll be one in Hong Kong and one in Singapore as well. So Munchie was working in the garden today, having a short break. What do you mean by that? You were doing the mowing? All right. The 2020 last night was a run fest. Pakistan are contenders. They certainly are. But Banster, you haven't mentioned the fact that you predicted that the West Indies over 50 players would actually not do well in the Australia-West Indies match, and they would actually lose. Well, you were wrong. West Indies won 4-1. And again, Chris Gale excelled, and Aaron Lewis and a whole bunch of other players played extremely well, and Australia were unceremoniously smashed yet again, 4-1. Australia, in the current form that they're in, will not make the finals, the semi-finals of the World Cup, the T20 World Cup. It'll be on one side England and the West Indies, and the other side India with potentially either Pakistan or New Zealand. And they're your 4 or 5 teams. Australia won't figure. Australia and South Africa will not figure anywhere on that left-hand side, and nor will most others. Gale got 21. It's hardly excel. Did you see the way he scored magnificently? 6s and 4s everywhere. You are underplaying what will be Liam Livingstone was probably the other standout, having got a century on 42 deliveries. An excellent knock last night, but they couldn't win with that. It says a lot how well Pakistan are actually. It's quite an impressive way that Pakistan have played to actually get themselves in that position as well. So Pakistan and West Indies are the dark horses for the T20 World Cup, with the ones more fancy being India, New Zealand, and probably, of course, England. England, India, and New Zealand are more favoured, with West Indies and Pakistan the more dark horses. Probably the West Indies can't be called that anymore. They have to be a front contender right up front. They have all their players play. I think you'll find that they will all throw a great deal of weight behind their team. How confident are we that the pitches in the UAE cope with the end of the IPL and then the T20 World Cup? Well, great question, Munchie. I mean, look, they're not great pitches to start with, but they're drop-ins, I believe, so they'll be fairly well kept in leading up to it. I think they'll have a number of strips. The ground in Dubai is particularly good. Sharjah is not bad, but then Oman is another. Oman is actually a platform that's got new grass wickets. They're in good condition indeed. Aparna's back. You lost your other backup thing. What happened, Aparna?
My phone's battery always
Oh, you and your
doesn't
phone
back up on
battery.
me.
You and your IT degrees. They can't help you if you get the bloody charge your battery up.
Well, I gotta stop breaking the phones. That's the thing.
It's silly.
Before you say it.
Now, we had Barnstead Boy and Munchie talking about England, India, Pakistan win these are my semi-finals. So you don't think Munchie doesn't think New Zealand will be there? West Indies will need to get to bed early with a cup of cocoa. Barnstead Boy, I'm going to bring back Merv Richardson onto the platform, and he's going to have a good chat to you about your unceremoniously knocking the West Indies team.
What's wrong
Chris
with that?
Chris couldn't make it today because he's got things to do. But he's actually in lockdown, so he can't go very far. So he can't play golf at home. Barnstead Boy, is your son playing golf? What, indoors or in the backyard? Where is he playing golf? So Sharjah, of course, and Trent Bridge are a nightmare for bowlers. Yeah,
Well,
they are, but you'll
Norman,
find
I'll
that.
leave you with your views, and because I am having a hard time to really hear you because of my
Okay.
device.
All right.
So I'll make a move, and I'll be trying to be on time next time.
That's all right.
You're gonna
You
give me a
need
bit
to
more
say
heads up.
goodbye from your channel too.
Yeah, thank you for everyone joining us tonight. This is bye from me, but Norman will continue. And always a pleasure to be on Norman's platform or have a chat with Norman about cricket. Next time we'll probably do a collaboration, Norman.
Well, I
We'll
wanted
just
to
have work
today.
it
Have your
out.
password.
Yeah, we have to work it out. But just so many good interactive views in your platform that I enjoy. Having the opportunity to come on. So thank you, Norman. Thank you, guys. That's a bye from me.
Thank you, Aparna. And everybody go to Aparna Saini's YouTube channel, which has 3,000 plus subscribers. It's called Cricket Conversation with Aparna Saini. I put a lovely photo of you that you gave me on my channel to talk about it. She's a glamour, not just in terms of looks,
And
but
all the
intelligence.
18,000 people that Norman's got. Come on, views. Press the subscribe button on my one too.
That's what I'm saying. Hit
I've been on this
subscribe.
channel so many times. What are you guys
No, I
doing?
said Aparna. Everyone that's on my platform needs to go
I
to
need
Aparna's.
motivation to actually start making videos.
Exactly.
But talking about cricket, like Norman have, the support. You need the support.
Exactly.
No, I'm not fussed about it. But anyway, it's just lovely to catch up with you.
Thanks,
Norman.
Aparna.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Talk soon. Ciao. Very lucky to have her on. She's a very busy girl. She's studying law and IT and all sorts of things. She's in a double degree mode. Okay, so Barnstead Boy's having a conversation with Shah Manju saying, this is the first time on the team sheet you're talking about Owen Morgan. Yeah, he didn't play too badly. Darwin Milan, keep him there for sure. Liam Livingston's got to be kept there as well. So Munchie's having a chat about Owen Morgan. Now let me go back to what that's about. When Joe Butler comes back in England, I cannot leave. I am Livingston. Okay, now Liam Livingston has to stay there. He has to stay there. Someone who scores 142 deliveries has to stay there. So that's a given. So in terms of the actual teams for the T20 World Cup, Owen Morgan is a big question mark, especially when you've got the IPL looming prior to it. And I want to entertain the discussion more and more about the fact of whether or not there's going to be too much cricket with an IPL or the current formats that are playing around the world, leading into an IPL, which will be 31 matches, and then into the actual World Cup. A lot of players are not playing both. Steve Smith looks like he's not playing the World Cup. I'm assuming he's playing the IPL. David Warner will probably play the IPL. Whether he plays the World Cup, I'm assuming he will too. Glenn Maxwell's not playing the 100. I'm assuming he's playing the IPL because it's where the money also dictates terms somewhat. But I think the IPL will be a great platform, especially because it's in the same conditions or the same location. If you want to get more and more into the groove of the World Cup conditions, you'd be better playing the IPL, I would think, even though it extends the amount of games you play. They're not exactly long-form games, are they? There's no excuses. You should be able to play all, I think. It's not as taxing on you as Test cricket or ODI cricket. So that's my thoughts, at least. I think that they've got every reason to play both, and I think it would be an advantage rather than disadvantage. What do you guys think? Is it an advantage? Josh Butler will definitely come back in. Is England going to burst back Pakistan in the T20 format? Interesting. I don't think they're going to have it all their own way, put it that way. Morgan's England's leading ODI run scorer of all time. Okay, does that, yeah, it may well be, but is he going to be in the future? Okay, is England going to bounce back? Yeah, we mentioned it. Sure, fringe players are getting a chance to prove themselves. We could lose all games. So you're saying that they're actually not putting their best team on the park for the match against Pakistan. Well, that's interesting. That's rather sad. It's not the way it should be operating. It should be not based on putting the worst players on or the lesser players, although a lot of teams are doing that at the moment. England played a B bowling attack yesterday. Oh, that's being a bit that's playing down the performances of Pakistan. I don't like that. There, as India always says, and I agree with them, there's no such thing as an A, B, C team. You're playing for India. You're playing for England. There may be another team playing at the moment Test cricket over in England, but they still are the team called India. I think Morgan wants to touch Dhoni's legacy, but it's not going to happen. I mean, Owen Morgan's struggling to keep his position as captain of the KKR team, to be honest. Butler and Stokes and Arch coming to the team will have a lot of selection headaches. Well, I don't think Arch is coming into to play. Stokes certainly will be. Butler will also. Where is Butler? Simon Shastri. That's a good question. He must have been unavailable for a reason. I think he wanted some time with his young family. Well, Rashid and Sam Curran, they've got a great side. England. No Wokes, no Curran, no Rashid, no Archer, no Wood. Yes, but still, you got your team on the field now. You got to play it with them. Australia has got no excuses either. How are you, sir? I've been your subscriber since the day you started, and now it feels like I made the right choice. We get live fan interaction now, nowhere else. Thank you very much, Adash Kumar. You need to also pass it on to other people. No, Pakistan play excellently well, but normally Rashid would play ahead of Parkinson, Sam over Wiley. Okay. Yeah, I think you can't knock Pakistan performance. Buzzer Azam. What I didn't like yesterday with Baba Azam scored 85. No one talked about it. They talked about Livingston's 100, but they forgot to mention Baba Azam has got, after scoring 158 in the ODI recently, he's just scored an 85 in the T20. Magnificent batting. He is really up the top level. You have to say now, Kohli, Root, Williamson, Baba Azam, and Steve Smith. Not Labuschagne. Love your passion for cricket and daily analytical videos. Keep it up, Norman. Cheers. That's great. You pass the word out there, please, too. We've got a lot of good people talking on the line. Munchie and Samantha Sastri's there too. England wants Sam Curran and Butler in the Indians Test series. That's their strategy. Yeah, that's probably a good point. I think that's a fairly relevant point. The only thing is that there's so much cricket going on. Not only there's a tightness. I don't think people realize. People think, you can slot a lot of game in here for 2 weeks. The fact is they're not getting a break. The more and more I look at the Indian Test team that have gone off and gone to Wimbledon and the soccer, football as you would call it, the more I'm liking it. the more I'm liking the fact that, okay, they've got COVID. COVID's no more than the flu now. If you're vaccinated, it's the flu. I don't even want to call it COVID-19. If you've got the double dose, it's like the flu now. You can get it, you might not feel well, but you can live through it. I don't think Archer will be seen in the Ashes. I don't think Archer will be seen, might it, at all, because I think his injury is going to plague him every time he touches a cricket field. So, but Bartlett was on the bench last night, and he will play tomorrow. Okay. Sorry, 4-1. Are you saying sorry to me? Because I'm not worried. If you're talking specifically about the Australia-West Indies series, yes, there was 4-1 between Pakistan and England. Well, are you saying that Pakistan's going to lose all the matches? I'm not sure, but I think there's a great deal of interest in that T20 series now. KL Rahul must do well. He certainly should go ahead of Redha Masaha in that pecking order. Tarnell Mills, and he'll be white ball only. That could well be the case. I think that may well be the case. I think his Test cricket days are over. Adil Rashid will play instead of Parkinson. So they are rotating. Okay. Oh, I want everybody now to comment. Now, when we finish this interview in the post comments, not in the live chat, the post comments, I want you to all put down who are your 4 World Test, the World T20, World Cup T20 4 semi-finalists. Okay, I want you all to put that and even put a bold prediction. And again, at the moment we've got in Group 1 or A, we've got Australia, South Africa, West Indies, England, and then 2 qualifiers, which won't matter. Australia and South Africa are not in the top 2. It'll be England and West Indies. The second group, yeah, Munchie said he's semi-finals a number of times already. Yeah. You're saying it'll be Pakistan in there and not New Zealand. I'm saying the second group where there's India, New Zealand, Pakistan, and Afghanistan, and possibly Bangladesh as well, another qualifier. Afghanistan won't. They'll give a good performance for themselves. It'll be India with the winner, or the split hair between Pakistan and New Zealand. Quite likely to be Pakistan if they play the form, which would mean England and West Indies, India, and say Pakistan. Very exciting for Group of 4. Okay. My question was that having lost to the Windies 4-1, where do you think Australia stands in this grand preparation of IC Wilson? Very poorly. Even Mitchell Marsh won't play there if they play the final. It's going to be completely stuffed out. Also, my second favourite team, I want India versus Australia in the final. That is not going to happen. There is no way on earth India will play Australia. Australia will not even make the last 4, let alone get anywhere near the top 2. It'll be India, England, or possibly even West Indies versus one of the other 2. I'm gonna give you another bout of something in a minute. I didn't say that at all. The 100, England versus India, then IPL, then T20 World Cup, survival of the fittest, absolutely. And then there's Ashes. Then India play New Zealand at home, and then India go off to South Africa. England, who are they playing over? Well, they're playing us, of course, in the Ashes, but are they playing anyone else? We're playing Afghanistan one match as well, which is going to be a bit of a Bobby Dazzler. I'm very excited. I'm going to make a point of going to Hobart in November, if I'm allowed to go and watch Australia play Afghanistan with Tim Payne captaining in his own country, his own country, and also his own state and city. And he's got a lot to play for. Could be his last series as captain. We don't know. He may decide to leave the captaincy on top, which means after an Ashes win and a Afghanistan match. He may say that as his time. England go to Pakistan in the summer. Okay, that'll be interesting. They actually go. So, Barnstable, are you saying that England are actually going to Pakistan, not UAE? They're going to play in Pakistan, are they? That's interesting. Well, not only because of the previous discussions on political unrest in the country, or at least that the so-called terrorist cell, but also because of COVID and because of the UAE being preferred at the moment for both the IPL and the World Cup. Yeah, it's in Pakistan. Okay, a couple of ODIs in Pakistan. What about actual test matches? It's late on. You've got to take rest and keep going. To keep going. Now I'm fine. I'm actually more comfortable than ever. I'm lying in bed. That shouldn't be the case, but I am because I had a problem with the room. The lighting had a problem, so I had to make a last minute dash to here to be able to do my session tonight. So no, I don't think I get a bit yet. We've got a bit more time to go. I do want to explore the Australia West Indies series a bit more, and I want to. They even brought Darren Bravo in today, not just Wayne Bravo, but Darren Bravo got a bit of a Guernsey. They've certainly got all guns blazing. The old West Indies. Look at the West Indies team: Lewis and Fletcher, and then you got Lendl Simmons, Hetmeyer, Puram, Nicholas Pran, Gale. My God, Pollard still to come back. They've got Fabian Allen who batted well. They've got Andre Russell. Then both Bravos. Oh my God, they've got so much depth. I'm telling you, they're gonna probably give everyone a shake. They're going to give a lot of teams. The conditions are going to suit them as well. It won't be that bouncy, but it'll suit them. It'll be very, very interesting indeed. No one has more late night shenanigans. No, I don't. Dr. Cheaton, why does ECB work towards amplifying that already existing T20 Blast League rather than infusing new 100-ball format into cricket? Okay. I want Munchie or let's go through this. Dr. Cheaton's question here. Okay. Why doesn't ECB work towards amplifying their already existing T20 Blast League rather than infusing new 100-ball format in cricket? I agree. I actually think it's a mistake, but they didn't have a chance to do it last year because of COVID. They are this year in a squish format. It's heading for disaster. About getting cricket back on terrestrial TV and it's a TV right still and appeal to young people. Correct. So it's really like got Australian fire, or is it fake? No, it's not fake. Absolutely not. It's real. What other country practice? County championship we're talking about. Oh, there's the county 11 team is playing, and they've got a couple of Hamid, the batter, is in that side. It'll be interesting. Okay. I've asked the question about Virat Kohli. He certainly has got fired. He was in the nets today batting, practicing. He looked particularly good, actually. A lot of time for him, to be honest. ECB are actually increasing the pack schedule and actually hampering players' mental health, and they're promoting. I would argue there's been a lot of monetary grabbing, meaning that they had to quickly get competitions and they got minor windows and shoving in regardless. I want to know how many people are actually playing the IPL that were in the first 29 matches. Out of all the teams of the first 29 matches, are they all coming back for the final 31? Are the England players playing? Are the Australian players playing? Probably a lot of them are actually, and they may be also looking at not playing. They're not playing on playing on the World Cup stage. As a matter of fact, it may well be that maybe the part what they're out for. So it's quite a. There's going to be a lot of give and take, but then if you truly want to play, the IPL is a great backdrop for what will be the World Cup, and then they'll be heading home, and then England will play and Pakistan over the series, and obviously and the Ashes, So England are playing Pakistan before they go to the Ashes. Is that right? Monsieur, Monsieur Reggie, as in Banster Boy, are England playing Pakistan away, as in Pakistan, prior to the Ashes? Is that what's happening? I'm gathering that's what you were saying. Please confirm. So we've had the women's cricket discussed today, and we had Yash Lahoti, who was actually the man from Women's Cricket Zone, which is basically one of the major women platforms for cricket. We're certainly one here, and also Sports Today are probably the three that actually carry that discussion. So, it's all well and good for us to have that in there. So I'm pretty happy with the way that women's cricket's going. It's growing exponentially, especially in other parts of the world. I think it's quite a platform indeed. Indeed, it certainly is. And I'm very proud of my involvement, what I've had. We've had a number of the girls on the show, as you know. It's going to be interesting to see how that develops in the future. I would argue that it's going to be bigger and better. And I think it's going to leave quite a mark on world cricket. In particular, the way that there's so many pluses, it's not funny. There's a lot of good about what we were saying with women's cricket in terms of the exemplary nature of the way they conduct themselves. There's very little controversy, or at least we don't see all the controversy. There's always controversy, but it's not like there is no controversy. The whole bio-bubble breach is the Sri Lankan three, including the Russian Dick Weller. I think it was Kushal Mendes, and I can't remember the third player's name. They have been ousted, but then we had others. I would let them go. I would, Sri Lanka had any brains, I would let those three players just go. Let them play. I would agree. I would agree with that comment. Rajasthan Royals will be devastated if the England lads don't jump for their IPL. They will certainly be. Okay. Secondly, I think IPL as a product has become good, and even if the men's players don't play, I don't mind seeing youngs getting a chance to get a big wing somewhere. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Fair comment. England play in Pakistan in October. I thought so. While India play New Zealand home, Australia playing for their. Good night, Norman. Good night, all heading back to work outside. Enjoy your outdoor stuff. Much too soon. So the rules in T20 are the same with the ODIs, but they get certain rules. The 100 that actually are not in the frequency that we have it. Yeah, well, the 100 is 25 ball overs, not 6. They bowl from one end for I think 10. And bowlers can bowl straight through. They can bowl more than one over, apparently. It's quite interesting. But I don't get it. I still don't get it. Still not my cup of tea. Still something rather remiss there. Amiss or remiss. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to. I think there'll be too much cricket. That's my real factors. There'll be too much cricket. Way too much cricket. Way too much cricket. All right. Any more questions, guys? Because we're almost exhausted all the questions. Any more questions? Barnes said, "Boy, you got any questions? How is Chris? Is he handling being at home, stuck at home? Very well. That's as long as he is at home. You should stay at home. You should stay at home if you're not doing anything. You shouldn't be out running about. If you've got COVID or if you've got any symptoms, get yourself checked out. That's for sure. Isn't the 100 hampering the gentleman's game? I am. I have to agree. Banster was also worried about the format. It'll give it a go. But I'll tell you what, if it's a disaster for the first season, they've got to cut it quickly. They can't persist with it because I think time-wise the schedule is so stuffed up. It's really, if they didn't have it on now, a lot of players would be more available. For, I mean, Glenn Maxwell made the decision not to go. The whole house is isolating. Okay. What was the reason that the Australian toss lost the series? They had a good enough team. They were up against a better side. The T10 tournament anyway didn't go down too well with the retired cricketers and commenters as well. Yeah, it was a bit 10 overs is to me way too short. That's way too short. 20 overs is about the right length, but 10 overs is way too short. Way too short. I don't have much time for it. That's just barnyard cricket. It's not, you just go to the backyard and just have a quick hit. It's not cricket. Can't be cricket. At all. Okay. Women's cricket is pretty much in form. It's pretty much good. It's just needs more consistent support financially, and it needs to be broadened in terms of the competition, especially the one that's taking place in the IPL. They've only got basically 3 teams, I think it is, and that's not good enough. Not good enough. Okay. Maxwell comeback update, please. So he doesn't want to. He didn't play the 100 probably for a lot of good reasons. I'm pretty sure he'll be ready for the IPL and the World Cup. He doesn't play Test cricket, so he's not going to be included there. I bet even gully cricketers must be playing more than 10 overs each. Good point. How much this loss will affect the upcoming Australia? Well, Australia might redeem themselves a little bit in Bangladesh, but they're already. Bangladesh aren't the threat. It's West Indies that are the threat. West Indies have proven to be a huge threat. A huge threat. The series here was very good. England are just decent side, and they just need a couple of more players coming through. Okay, yeah, England, India, New Zealand, and West Indies are the 4. Potentially Pakistan. Pakistan will do look good, and they'll gain a lot from the little head out over the last few weeks, for sure. Not to be sneezed at, are the Pakistanis? No way. Hey, Norman, I would like to ask that, do you think 100 would be replacement for T10 as the ends out league, but actually bad for real fans, only at 16.5 overs instead of 5 ball overs? Yeah, I don't get. I don't think it's going to replace T10, because you'll probably find T10 will have a place somewhere in the PSL or Afghanistan leagues for a little bit longer. Okay, I think I don't think it's, well, we're not getting a thing called 100 in Australia, are we? That's where I'm curious about it. If they are platforming it in England and Australia, well, we'll see. Okay. As Norman said, we need to invest more in the women's cricket. We need awareness campaigns and better players. There's a lot more talent in Indian women. I think there's a lot of future there for women's cricket. Who will win the next England-Pakistan match? Well, Pakistan beat England just then. Let's get their act together. You think it'll be perhaps a rebound for England and make it very close? For sure. Very interesting, though. It was a great match. Liam Livingstone was fantastic. Baba Azam was fantastic. They're all professionals. Australian women are probably professionals too. New Zealand are very close. Sri Lanka nowhere near it. Pakistan nowhere near it. Bangladesh nowhere near it. South Africa, kind of. The very top players maybe, but not the players below that. Yeah, it's a struggle there for the good old most countries. Australia, England, New Zealand are doing okay, and possibly India. India didn't pay. Norman's still rocking, not by much, guys. So I'm going to go another 10, 15 minutes, guys. So you need to occupy my time with some good questions, okay? And we've got Banster Boy here as well and Munchie that are kind of online. Both having a good old natter. Don't forget to view, like, and share the posts. Follow my YouTube and Twitter channel handle. I'm on LinkedIn as well under, I think, Norm Koch. But yeah, the most important thing is to subscribe. It doesn't mean money to me. It just means I've got more clout when it comes to a lot of things. Okay. Guess the restaurant looking where I'm. I have looked where I am. Did you watch the full England and Pakistan match? Of course I did. If yes, then did you notice Livingston slowed down at one point? I think he paced himself is more the right word, but he couldn't slow down too much because he got 142 balls. Started off with an incredible bang, and then probably just played out a bit and then went bang up again. So he played really well in Australia. Great question. Yeah, I'm going to consider the Olympics, certainly. I will give that some. There's been a lot of discussions, but apparently, by already some COVID cases in camp. I saw one of the Australian media spent almost 40 hours getting to Japan when it should only take maybe less than 10 or 10 or thereabouts. All the protocol there, and they went through Singapore, and they got flights especially virtually empty. There was all these different passport type documents. It was quite a big deal. Yeah, I will cover the Olympics. Along with the big three, should support emerging countries. I agree. So all countries should take a sister country with them, like Ireland, Netherlands, and build an infra to produce talent instead of looking at Sri Lanka. Yes. Okay, the most medals, you'd have to always consider America, Russia, China, certainly Australia in some parts as well, Canada, Jamaica does the track and field, some of the European countries. Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I mean, 66 off 22 and then took 20 to get the next. Well, that's still very good. Big three need to invest in cricket worldwide. It is a game we love and want to thrive. I agree. That's simple. The World Cup T20 Group A, it's very dangerous. Australia with these England. Yes, I agree. Please explain what was the reason this is not fair. I don't think it's based on anything other than a true out of a hat, trying to cost type thing. I don't think there's anything more elaborate about that. I think it's just the way it fell. You can't blame anyone for it. It wasn't based on a deliberate attempt to jinx any of the teams. I think you'll find that it'll work out for quite fine. I think it'll work out quite fine. So that was the last question I got. So how are we going with questions, guys? Obviously, Australia West Indies meant the most to me, and Australia proved very, very categorically they're in no shape to be putting anything. The players are getting back. Now, Steve Smith's not going to be. Warner, maybe, if he plays with his head clear, yes. And Maxwell, certainly. Bowlers-wise, I think that they probably need to keep some of the players, like Ty, probably not. I still think that Berendorf, I thought he looked good enough, and Adam Zampa should be playing Test cricket as well. Netherlands, Ireland have been better potential than West Indies, Sri Lanka, and I'm sure they were the big three. No, not better than West Indies. No. If Europe becomes a hotbed for cricket, then there's cricket can enter the Olympics. Isn't it meant to be in some format? I'm not sure whether they're touting for that. Maybe a miniature version, maybe something like that. The T10 might be the go. Sibdas, your solutions to fix for the draw, is that fair? Yeah, exactly. You can't fix the draw. The draw is out, and if it happens to be one strong than the other, That's the way it is. But it's still relatively even with the top players in this team. I think you can't really distinguish between them. Game with Hardik. Netherlands, Ireland, Scotland, Afghanistan probably clean sweep. Sri Lanka, Bangladesh at this point. Yeah, I think that Sri Lanka's in deep danger, and Bangladesh to a lesser extent, but also in danger. Sri Lanka's in huge danger. Cricket has to survive. We need new nations and new audiences. Europe has the diaspora and a capital to support. Yes, Sri Lanka political system can't let them survive much longer. Well, I agree. Sri Lanka's got some serious issues, but we've got other nations. Oman's right next door there. They're going to be a very big part of this World Cup. Yep, I know we want to share the love for cricket some months to Australia. I totally agree. Totally and utterly agree. Totally and utterly agree. All right. Another 5 minutes. Hope to see you, Norman, in the ICC 220 World Cup. Definitely will. What about this idea? Group A. What's your idea? Game with Hardik. You better get that out pretty quickly. You're not going to fix the groups. You can't say each side. Maybe you could go on ranking, maybe, but I think that it's not a problem. You have to beat each other to get through anyway. It won't matter which order of events, but West Indies and Pakistan, sorry, Australia and Pakistan. No, I'll get it right. Australia and South Africa will have their hands full with the likes of England and West Indies. I'll tell you that much. Okay, so Group A, number 1, number 8, 3 and 6 in A, and 2, 7. Yeah, that makes sense, but it's not that easy to do. How that is other group. It's basically done on a ballot system. It's not done. I don't think it's anything other than that. Stolen's Stoinis come back. So I think was more dangerous. Yeah, but he's been not in great form either. Actually, the excitement is not there with Australia, West Indies, Sri Lanka. Actually, unless the nations improve, how can we get good cricket? Well, yeah, there's going to be a morphs. There might be new teams emerging. We don't know. It's quite likely something's going to happen in that regard. All right, guys. Last few questions before I leave. Can cricket come in the Olympics? I thought it is. I thought there's been some limited version of the game, at least the Commonwealth Games to start, and then build up to Commonwealth to Olympics. I think that's on the cards. Chloe, Amanda Bailey, and myself. Well, I don't know her that well personally, so I think it's Noah first because I don't know her, so but I'll try. All right. Okay. I believe India will qualify to semis unbeaten, or only losing as in semis they can lose as they will face Australia, West Indies, or England. Okay. Yeah, I think India are going to do well. I think they are going to make the final. Secondly, more T20 is dangerous and will lose audiences. Test cricket is going to gain traction. I think league structure here to be there. Yeah, I think Test cricket is gaining traction, which is thank God for that, with men and women. Probably longer Test series and the World Test Championships put it on another platform, which I'm just so excited about. When it comes to something like T20, that's going to gain more prominence. If they keep pushing in the hundreds and even these T20, T10 formats, that could make ODI suffer. The 50 over version may be the one that really will suffer the most, potentially. Okay, that might happen. We'll wait and see. Just imagine we had IPL type set up in the best cricket in these days. We'll get so. Yeah, I agree. If it's a young man's game, it'll be true. League structure should be included in awards. Yes. Was that this right? Yeah. Okay, I agree. I mean, T20 at a faster pace is suitable for Olympics, as normally they finish in 4 hours. They speed it up to 3 hours. Can fit in football, can also fit. Yeah, football fits in as well, but it's very difficult to fit football, I can assure you. Very, very, very difficult. All right, guys. I'll take 3 more questions and that's it. So better be good questions. Not about Olympics. Talk about the Sri Lanka India series. To me, that's the most crucial. So please watch the Shikhar Dhawan press conference. When is it coming up? I will try and set it. Certainly we'll try to watch them. So someone's going to ask me a couple of questions. All right, no more questions, guys. That's long enough for me. This is Norman Koshnik signing off from one more question. Like Vikrant said yesterday, Norman doesn't do this as a job or for making money. He does it out of passion. And this is the passion that we are here to support. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. But subscribe, for God's sake. That's where I need you to just subscribe. Make it grow that way. Subscribe. People to like, share, view the channel, make comments in the post, not just the live chat, which you're doing now. Once I finish the session, then go straight. Can you all please, I want everyone here, gaming with everyone to make those comments in the post comments as well. How do you see the 100? Well, there's apparently a platform called something 11. What was it called? Dream 11 is the one that you need to go to. Sean Marsh, no. Kawaji, I hope so. Dawan Shaw, Devdutt, Raj, Sky Samson, Pandya, Krunal. Where's Ishan Kishan? Kuldeep, Chahal Bhuvi, and then Deepak Saini, Sakaraya is my team. What's yours on? Mine's very similar then. I only have Ishan Kishan in there. I wouldn't necessarily have Rajaraj there. Manasi, no, don't think so. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to call it quits, guys. We've gone for almost 2 hours here. Got some people still watching. All right, guys. So if you like and share, subscribe to my Instagram, my Twitter accounts at Norm Koch, LinkedIn page. Subscribe, even become members. You'll get benefits in the long term. Don't worry. I'm not happy with 100. I'm not pleased with it, but the word's out until we see more of it. That's what I would say. All right. Yeah. Talk about English though. Okay. What's country? No, that's not country. It's all England at the moment. All right, guys. You take care. I'm going to nod off now. It's just gone 12:30 p.m. in the morning. I should say. And we're doing okay otherwise. So one last question. Good to see your channel is now growing superbly. Thanks. So good night. Lots of love from India and stay healthy. Thank you. I agree with you. All the best, guys. We'll see each other soon again. All right. I want you all to be ready for the programs in the future, next few days. So Sri Lanka playing you tomorrow. Take care.